Welcome to That Squirrel Speaks. Today is Tuesday, August 14th, and this is episode 25. 25! Halfway to 50! Shh up. So, how are you? I'm doing okay. If you are a returning viewer, thank you for joining me again, okay? If you are a new viewer, hello, and how are you? I already asked how are you, but I care extra special bunches. Okay, so, bye-bye! I gotta be honest with you. I have no idea what I'm best to say. I at least usually try to have some concept of like, oh, I might talk about that, or then I'll talk about this. Oftentimes it doesn't actually play out that way at all. But today, I must confess, no clue. So we'll just see what happens. I would like to first of all say big thank yous to all your faces. Shush up. Guess what? Sock the Vote, I don't know if you heard about it. Mel from Single Handed Knits is organizing Sock the Vote, and there was a poll. Some of you voted in it. Some of you may have voted for me. I don't want to make any announcements because, quite frankly, heard episode downloaded this morning at 6 a.m. and it's now 8:30 a.m. and I had a child to get off school, so I haven't watched it yet. But I'm just saying, we might have won. I don't know. I mean, it's not official. One of those other groups could have snuck in there at the last minute to cinch the win. But I think maybe we won. I don't know. So I don't know. I'm making an announcement without any actual information. Hello, welcome to the show. That's what I do all the time. Yeah, say it with confidence. People will believe you. No, really, I have no idea. But if you voted, I do appreciate it. If you did not vote, psh, what's your problem, yo? If you did not know the vote, well, I did mention it briefly in last week's episode, but if you didn't watch it, that's fine. I get it. We got things to do. The Olympics were on. There were attractive people in swimsuits. I don't blame you. Go for it. But if you have not subscribed to the blog, you should probably do so, because sometimes there's funny nuggets that happen. And if you're like, oh, RSS feeds and all that jazz, I have a little thing on there where you can just put in your little email address and it'll just send you when there's an update. It's easy as pie. By the way, who said pie was easy? It's easy to eat. Well, actually, you know what? No, it's not even easy to eat. I mean, it is easy to eat. But it's not like to go easy to eat. But, okay, I'm sorry. Sidetrack. I guess in your Frontier kitchen, it was easy to make because everything was so stinking hard to make. Maybe that's where it came from. Maybe I should get some perspective, yo. Anyway, so thank you to those people who voted. Thank you for participating in the forums. It is greatly appreciated. And thank you to Beth. Beth donated her actual real live hard-earned money to the show. Thank you, Beth. Yay! Yay! Okay, so this is me deciding if I should talk about children's or knitting's. I don't even know. Okay, I'll just talk about children's. If you're not interested, you probably should just not watch this show because, quite frankly, I have no life beyond knitting and my child. That's it. I'm okay with that. I'm not complaining. I'm not like, oh, I wish I could go out to the club. No. I did not go out to the club when I was of an age to go out to the club. But I'm just saying, you're watching. Anywho, first week of school went fairly well. Actually went way better than I thought it would go. There was only crying once. Smooth sailing otherwise. She's not eating her lunch. But that's because there's a cafeteria and it's loud. I know lots of times they put kindergartners in their own rooms to eat, but I don't think they logistically have that capability because they don't have desks for all the kindergartners because they just do different things. So there's probably like some rule about them not like being allowed to eat on their mats on the floor. So they do eat in the cafeteria with all the other kids, and it's a bit rambunctious. And my little nervous Nellie, who by the way is a wildcat and will scream and tear through everything. But suddenly, when she's in an unfamiliar situation, or it's not familiar, but whatever, she's all like, Remember, she's like, "Ka-ka-ka-ka!" she's running and screaming, and so whatever, she's me. It's okay. But anyway, so that is the only hiccup. There is a little girl who seems to be tormenting her. She is known as the little girl with purple rubber bands in her hair. She's not really tormenting her, but my child is does not understand that this child is probably trying to make friends with her, but is bugging her to do that because my child is socially awkward. So she's been tormented by the little girl with purple braids in her hair, or purple rubber bands in her hair. And then the best thing is, so today's Tuesday, so yesterday she comes up, she's like, "Oh, I totally thought the little girl with purple rubber bands in her hair wasn't there, but guess what? She just changed her hair." She tricked you. So that little girl is a ninja. She totally fooled all the kids by not showing up with purple rubber bands in her hair. Baby buggers. Anyway, so yes, things are going pretty well, okay? I had a fabulous week! Besides my occasional, about the little girl with the purple rubber bands in her hair, little girl, back off. Then I had to dial myself back and remember that they are 5 and that some of them are not as ready to interact with other humans as others. Pinching does not make you friends, people. In case you're 5 and you're watching this, FYI. But anyway, so, see, like I've been talking for 6 minutes. Have I said anything? No. But that's okay. Oh, that's what I was talking about. How my week went. Marriage was fabulous. I got so much knitting done. I actually cleaned the house. Not really. My husband doesn't watch this, so he won't bust me. I cleaned the house on my level of clean, which is, I'm sure, disgusting for some of you. But it's acceptable to me, and that's all that matters, okay? Okay. Oh my gosh, also, in case you have little people at home, guess what? When they get to school, they make so many less messes in the house. It's insane. Like, I've been, like, all week, not only just be like, oh, there's not, like, a wild monkey running through the house screaming, but also, like, oh, look at me, I'm not picking up little bits of construction paper every 5 minutes. Oh, look at me, I'm not getting juice every 2 minutes. Huh? What? What? Look at me, I can actually form a cognizant thought in my head without somebody being like, What? How's that possible? I know, of course, the week I've had a week to think, I'm like, I have nothing to say, okay? That happens sometimes. So anyway, I guess I should talk about the knitting. Finished objects. Finished objects you've never even seen in progress style. What? It's true. First finished object. Okay, I gotta shut up about my kid. Okay, my kid, though, in part of her school supplies, had to have headphones for the listening station. I think that's what it's called. Okay, so we have headphones in the house that are hers, but those little black floofle things, you know what I'm talking about, right? The cover that goes over it had torn. And I was all like, well, I can't throw those away. They're still perfectly useful. And then I looked up where to buy those little floofly things. Okay, you can buy them on Amazon. Duh, you buy everything on Amazon. And they're like $3.50 for 3, which I didn't think was, that seemed reasonable. But then I would have to, I can't pay for shipping. Hello? And then I had to make another order. So I was like, I bet I can knit some headphone covers. And guess what? You totally can. I didn't even have to Indiana Jones it. People have done it before. Shut. Okay, so I found a pattern that's called Easy as Pie headphones. Did you know that? I can bring it together. Full circle pasta. Easy as Pie headphones, and it's by Jocelyn Blair. It's on her blog, so it's free. And if you look it up on Ravelry, they're called Easy as Pie, P-I-E headphones. I think, now that I say that, it might be P-I, but I think it's P-I-E. Anyway, it's basically just a circle based on the beautiful Elizabeth Zimmerman's Pie Increases. And then you got headphone covers, yo. What? You actually, so you knit, this is a free pattern. I think you cast on 6. I just did magic cast on. And then I magic looped her. And you make a little circle. And then on your bind off, I don't know if you can see that. Probably can't see that. On your bind off, you just use a hair elastic. And then, right. I should have thought of that, but I didn't. I was all like, am I going to tie these on there? They're going to come loose. And so then it just pops right over. Insert awkward music here. It pops right over the little lippy thing. Just like the other ones do. And you have cool, super jazzy headphone covers. This yarn, I'm not sure what it is. It's Knit Picks, it's a fingering weight, and it's the one with alpaca in it, but it's a hand paint. I'm going to say something like princess face. That's not it, but something like that. Anyway, I just had some bits. And I thought, well, is it going to make the sound funky? Because the knitting is denser. Because, that foamy stuff is like very open. It does not affect the sound. I checked it out with one, and then I went, ooh, and then I went, ooh, and then it was totally fine. So, what up? So again, Easy as Pie headphones by Jocelyn Blair. Problem solved. Okay, so then usually I record on Mondays to get the video out Tuesday morning. Today I'm recording Tuesday morning because guess what? On Monday I realized I have a knit. I have a gift to make. My phone is ringing. Apologize. I had a gift to make for a friend's child that I really knew was coming, like as in Friday. I knew that was going to happen, and it's been on my calendar for months, but somehow knowing and integrating that into my actual life plan did not happen at appropriate time. So I just had that moment. So Monday morning, I totally cast on for a toy for her, and then I was all like, I gotta finish this so I can show it on the podcast, because I'm gonna give it away and before the next podcast, so clearly I should delay recording so that I can finish this. There's my logic process. Fuzzy! Anyway, so I tell them, yo, what up? So this is Greta, the Captivating Cap by the beautiful Rebecca Danger. Did you see? That totally sounded like a cat. That was unintentional. And it's made out of some hand spun that I dyed. Okay. This is Punta, which is much like the Falkland. It's not the actual name of a sheep, but a place where the sheepy comes from. So Punta is a port in South America. I'm sorry, I've already said this, but sometimes people are new. Sometimes you forget. Punta is a port in South America that lots of wool is shipped out of. And so instead of naming it the sheep that the fleece comes off of, they name it the port. But usually it's merino and Corriedale. So anyway, it was pleasant to spin, and it's very soft. And there she is. I'm a little disappointed. I like the way she looks in terms of her stuffing. Like, I like her kind of having, she's kind of like, I've almost got an apron belly. I kind of like her rotund middle, but my stitches show through just, not so much really. They did before more than after I blocked her a little bit, while I washed her, quite frankly. So actually, you know what? Now it's not bad at all. But since she's such a light color, it didn't show. It's not like I was like, but I was a little bit like, Anyway, I knit her on 3s. I think if I could make another one, I would make it. You know what? No. It's very nice. I like it. It's very cute. Now, in all the pictures, she has like a fancy ribbon sash, because she really kind of needs it. Her neck is a little fat. That's not a bad word, people. It's descriptive. If you say it with anger in your heart, anything can be a bad word. She's got a little bit of a chunky monkey neck. So I think the sash is very cute, but I don't want to use the ribbon because this is for a 6-year-old, and that ribbon's going to look like crud in like 3 seconds. So maybe I'll knit her a scarf. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. So she's got little doohickey safety eyes. And then I'm holding her. I'm like, her nose is totally wonky. Whatever. I didn't notice it till just now. I'll just squish her face. So, and then I kind of did a combination of embroidery and needle felting for her nose and her belly button. So, yeah, I'm telling you, she's kind of cute. Kind of enjoying her. She was very easy to make. She was not at all fiddly. My daughter has asked for one too. I think I'll make the torso on the next one a little bit smaller because this is hand spun, and I have 2 ounces left, but who knows if that 2 ounces lengthwise is the same as this 2 ounces lengthwise. It could be totally off. Okay. So success. So again, that is Greta the Captivating Cat by Rebecca Danger. It is a paid for pattern. So I need to make a bunch more of them. I bought it a while ago thinking I would make something for somebody else. So I've had it in my librario, la biblioteca, for a while now. And my see, her eyes are kind of wonky too. Whatever. Why am I stressed out about it? It's for a 6-year-old. Like, she's going to be like, But anyway, so I've had that in my stoof for a beat now. And I did put her in the dryer because A, I'm impatient, pants. And B, as I said, I was a little bit like, her stuffing was a little showy. So I put her in there for like 10 minutes, tested her. She hadn't shrunk at all or felt it at all. Then I put her in there forever. And you can kind of, you probably can't see on the camera, she has a little lost stitch definition in this part of her arm. But really where she's stuffed, not at all. So, I mean, I wouldn't think that polyfill, which is so squishy, would be enough resistance to keep your stitches from felting up on each other. But it might be. I don't know. Because there is definitely more felting in the ears and this part where there is no polyfill. So, I don't know. That's interesting. That would be an interesting experiment. So even if you make the toy with the non-superwash wool, maybe it's totally chill to put it in there because the stuffing kind of... I don't know. I'm not saying that for sure, okay? But she's cute. She does need a scarf. She needs accessories. So that's my finished objects. What? Works in progress. I'll do spinning for a second. Okay. So the beautiful Kate gifted me a loop bat. Bullseye bump. This is what's left. It is 5.6 ounces. It's a Merino Corriedale one, I think. Yep. With nylon and Angelina. So it's, did I say 4.6 ounces? Blaze is the colorway, but of course they're non-repeatable, so you can't have it. Only for me now. So this is, you can kind of see, this is what's, I'm spinning from the outside in. I've totally spun them both ways. I don't have a problem either way, but sometimes the fatter ones, it's a little easier to do it from the outside because there's just, it gets packed in there in the middle a little bit. But it works either way. Anyway, so I'm doing the yellow right now. You can see, I meant to do a wraps per inch on that before I started the show, but then I just, flaked it out. Okay. So then there was a big chunk of like chocolatey, very dark coffee, black brown. And then you can kind of see the very beginning was this orangey. Oh, I love you even though I just swept you off. Was this orangey business up in here. That's where it transferred into the dark brown black. So it's very bright. So yay, so fun. Second work in progress. So I had been spinning all that alpaca for this sweater vest. Calculations are wrong. I spun about a minimum of 5 ounces more than I needed to. Oh well, that's fine. I can use that for something else. Still a bummer. So you will also probably not see this ever again. I will try to take a picture of it on the recipient. But it is being gifted this weekend, so you probably will not see this again. But here's the bottom, because that's what I got in my hands first. And here's the front is done, V-neck sweater vest. The back, we're getting there. The back has that much more to go. You're like, I can't see anything but a giant blob and a sweater vest. No, so, you know, I got some more to do on the back, and then I got to do the ribbing on the sleeves, and then the boop-a-doo. I am knitting this at a looser gauge than I normally would knit at, so you'll be able to see my face through there. Because it's alpaca, it's going to be really hot anyway. So I thought, well, maybe that will help to ventilate it a little bit. Also, when I was knitting it, I'm knitting it on size 4s. I went down to the size 3s, and it felt funky to knit. You know what I mean? Like, it just felt, there was resistance. I guess the alpaca has a bit of a halo or something. Maybe that's what was doing it. I don't know, but when I was just knitting, I was knitting it on 3s, and I was just like, this doesn't feel pleasant. It was very, like, you could feel it grab. You know what I mean? Like, you could feel it grab into the other stitch, and it just, I knew I had to knit it kind of fast. It was all stuck in it, and I was just like, well, I don't want to have that feeling for lots of stitches. So, anyway, I have this much of this ball, which I just started, and a whole other ball left. So I really did spend like at least 8 ounces too much. 6 ounces. 6 to 8 ounces too much. Oh, well, I could use it for something else. Just saying. But anyway, I counted that I would need 1,500 yards. I looked at another pattern, and then this one doesn't give you specific yardages because it's from Ann Budd's The Knitter's Handy Book of Patterns, and so it just gives you a range because it's a not modular. What's that other word? I can't think of. Whatever. It's a generic like formulaic pattern where you can plug in any gauge and any finished measurement. And work it that way. So the yardage that they give you is all the way from like the tiniest size knit in bulky to the giantest size knit in fingering, so that it's of no help at all. Not that it's not a help. I mean, it would be totally crazy labor intensive and print intensive to put all the yardages in. So anyway, I don't even know what I'm talking about now. Surprise. So I also looked at another pattern that was in a sport/DK weight. No, it was in a sport weight. That said 1,500 yards, and it was pretty much a plain stockinette version. And so I thought, oh, that's probably what I need then. I guess because I'm knitting at a looser gauge, but man, it's still like going to be crazy off. Anyway, like 500, like it's going to be like 33% off or something. Yeah, that's in my bag. This is the back side. This front side. I love this bag. Shut up. I've had a couple people ask me about these bags. I might make some. I don't know. Are you interested? I could totally make some. Anyway, so that's that. Last work in progress. The lovely Laura Linneman's My Hope Shawl. I am doing the beaded bind off of Doom. I think that's who does Of Doom? I think it's them. Anyway, Laura Linneman of the Knit Girls. Lola Knits. So I'm in the beaded bind off of Doom. I mean, full on Doom. I don't have one of those schwanky little tiny... Have you seen those crochet hooks you do a beaded bind off with? They are bonkers. Anyway, I don't have one of those clever little things, so I'm just using a wire to like... If you've never done a beaded bind off, this is not a TM activity. There's lots of tutorials out there. You can either slip the little tiny bead, which is so tiny, onto this microscopic crochet hook. Literally. I don't even know what that's made out of, that it's not bent. Anyway, you slip the bead on there, and then you hook your stitches to stitch to be bound off. You hook that so that the bead slips down over that stitch, and then you just bind off like you normally would. I don't have that little thing, and so I'm just using a beading wire that I've folded in half, and I just hook it on there and slide the bead down. So it's slightly more intensive. I don't know. It is, I guess, slightly more intensive, but it's still a giant pain in the butt. And again, this has nothing to do with Laura or her pattern. This is just the nature of this technique is pain in the butt. So anyway, and also, I've never done it before, and whatever, it's awkward. I'm not real happy with the beads I chose. I'm using a sport weight yarn instead of a fingering. So there's multiple things that are my own dang fault about why this process is not making me happier. They're all my own dang fault. So I just I talked about a little bit last week how I was trolling for beads. Well, my friend was like, you can just raid my stash. And I was like, okay. So I raided her stash, and I'm not pleased with what I chose. But it's this, they're this big. I didn't do the shawl for the beaded bind off. The beaded bind off was part of the shawl that I liked. So they were not, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't to me like a major feature. Like, it had a technical? It had like a functional use, and so I did it, meaning that it would weight down the bottom row of lace. But I wasn't like, yes, beads. So even though I'm not super psyched about my beads, I didn't want to like stop and order them and make it go on forever, because then I knew that if I ordered beads, I would probably also be like, I don't really like these that much either. And then I would have wasted like 2 weeks and more dollars and etc., etc. You're like, we so do not care. Just show us the dang thing. Sorry, my show. Anyway, so I have this much left to beadily bind off, which looks insane until you see the much that I did. Like, oh no, we're totally not done yet. So I don't know what you can see. Can you? I don't. Am I joking myself? You probably totally can't even see. You can barely see them. So why am I going to get all bent and spend more money and more time? Again, crazy pants yarn. If you had a plain yarn or even a less glittery bonko face yarn, they would show up much better. And also, I picked one that had a mixture because I couldn't decide which color to use. So that also made it not show up as well. Again, all my poor decisions. But that's fine because it still has what I want. It has the weight, which is what I was looking for. And it does kind of feel fun. Even though it was a giant pain in the neck, I think I would totally do one again. I would probably buy the fancy crochet hook though, just in the hopes that it would make it easier. Unless the fancy crochet hook was like $20, and then I would be like, no, really. So I am pleased with it. Again, hers is written for a fingering weight yarn. I am using a sport weight yarn. This yarn was I think 600 yards. I totally lost the tag. It was 600 yards, but again, it's sports, so it took more. And this is how much I have left, so I will have enough for the bind off edge. I did short myself one of the very last rows of like the garteriness. I don't think that's too much information to give you, because I was afraid I would not have enough for the bind off, and boy, would I have been ticked off. So I did short myself just one row, so no biggie. So yeah. I think I'm going to like it. It's very autumnal. It's very sparkly. Again, it was given to me by a friend. But I kind of enjoy it. It's like I've lost the ball. I'm sorry. I'm going to jostle the table. I'm going to pick it up with my toes. It's just crazy over here. So, that is Interlacements, Irish Jig. Now I'm all tangled up in the corner. Irish Jig, Canyonlands Plus colorway. Spaz face. That's me. Okay, I'm so sorry. Anyway, so yes, I'm enjoying it. I'm knitting that on US 5s, which I think is her suggestion for the fingering weight as well. And that's... I gotta still it. Shut up. Yes. Oh my gosh! Yay! Short episode! Can I think of anything clever to say? Probably not. What have I been doing this week? Well, I've been knitting. I don't know if you noticed. I didn't think to show you my little marker about where I was on that stupid sweater vest. I mean, not stupid. That very plain knitting stocking sweater vest of Apocalypse. I was only like this much last week, so I totally cranked a lot on that this week. I made an entire cat. Shut up. Okay, why am I justifying myself? I knitted a lot. For me. What else have I been doing? Oh, in order to knit so much, I have been watching quite a lot of television. Hello, Inspector Poirot. No, he's not an inspector because he was a private detective. But I've totally been watching Poirot, which I never watched before because I was all like, even though I love me some British accenty TV, I was all like, I don't know how I feel this. And the knitwear is lacking. Just say it right now. But it's still entertaining and I've enjoyed it. So, yeah, that's pretty much... I've been super boring style, but I've had such a good time. I mean, I have been worrying about that girl with the purple rubber bands in her hair and how she's pinching my kid and ripping her papers off of her. But she's 5. She doesn't understand how to make friends yet. I don't think we've discussed it quite a bit. My daughter's like, do you know what she did today? I'm like, well, try to back my kid up. Like, maybe she just doesn't know how to interact quite yet. So I have been spending a little time like, that girl doesn't simmer down. Oh my gosh, I'm talking way too much. Because I'm literally just filling time at this point, which is stupid. You have precious things to do. But anyway, I'm going to stop. I hope you have a lovely week. I look forward to hearing from you.